Hello YouTube, welcome back to a brand new video. My name is Kevin and this is the Red Pilling channel. So I just want to discuss, um, this is based off my last video about the horrific crime that was done to Irina, that young girl, on the train in Charlotte, North Carolina, or I mean the bus, it's on a bus, um, uh, and the girl's name again was Irina Sarostika. Um, I just want to talk about why believe white people need to stop being so afraid of being racist or be seen as racist, and why it's better to not be killed than to be afraid of being seen as racist. The left has clearly started a racial war that's been going on for years now. You know, after the Civil Rights Act passed and, Martin Luther King's, interesting enough, I'm not the biggest fan of MLK. Um, some people will say there were issues that some say the Civil Rights Act caused a lot of issues, but when MLK had his speech, his "I Have a Dream" speech, it was in the late 60s. That's when it seemed the racial division started to diminish. In the 80s, the 90s, people were very united. They didn't care what color your skin was. People were united. People got along more. Because it's about the content of your character, the heart, not the melanin on your skin. But clearly, in the 2000s, their division started to pick up again. And it really, really in by 2008 to when Obama came on the scene, it's when the race issue started to escalate again and division came back. Anywhere from wanting to be less tough on crime, anywhere from just being anti-cop, thinking all cops are racist, or white cops are racist, and if black cops are a police officer, then they're a traitor. Obviously, more problems came when the welfare state came, established by Lyndon Baines Johnson. I believe it's called the Great Society. Where what's interesting is before the 60s, before that started, there was a time blacks were actually more wealthy than white people. Yeah. And, well, that's why in the South, there's I think that's what really sparked the racism. They saw them as threat to the power. Obviously, the racial tensions stopped, and thing is, there's a lot of white people that fought to free the slaves. We went through a whole war to free them, and there's still no thank you. All it is victimhood now. And obviously, with the new stuff like critical race theory and, believing that, all whites are oppressors and the oppressed are all blacks, then neither of them can come out of their system, saying that, that minority groups will always be at a certain level because it's always the fault of someone else. And, he's keeping you down, saying we have to tear down America, and because it's made by white men, constantly making minority groups feel like total victims. here's the thing. White people, we have a white guilt problem in this country. We're so afraid. We're so afraid. Our society has become so afraid to be seen as racist. And it's so unpopular, and the image is so bad that the culture's made it where it's more unacceptable, socially unacceptable to be seen as a racist than someone to be seen as a murderer or a rapist. It is that intense by what culture has done, where now even criticism and pointing out the truth and is seen as racist now. You can't say anything that has any sort of negatory or you're seen as a racist. Now that's a problem, people. That's a problem. Now, I've held back a lot myself, and I'm making this video because I'm sick of being I'm going to say something that people are too afraid to say. I don't know what this could do to my life for just saying this. But again, white people have to stop being afraid of being seen as racist, and know that it's probably better to be seen as racist, as I said already, than to be killed. And there's nothing wrong with telling the truth and noticing the truth and pointing it out, not being afraid to say it when you notice it. Irina, that girl on the bus, again, was minding her own business. And here's the ironic thing. I think she was a BLM supporter. And this is what I find ironic about it. She even supported them. Black Lives Matter. So it seems to me she thought there was some inequality in the black community. And guess what? She was the one that ended up being a victim by a black person that happened to be black. Even when she was doing everything she thought she was supposed to do, not be seen as racist, not be seen as, being, almost like proving herself. I feel like a lot of time, white people that are part of the BLM movement, they're doing it for two reasons: a virtual signal and to try to prove to minority groups that they are not racist. For so long now, America, white people have been so guilted as being privileged and racist, and that they're doing whatever it can to prove they're not racist, and it seems to be backfiring. It's getting them killed. Anyways. And we have to stop apologizing for it. And I feel like if we don't stop, until we stop apologizing and not being afraid to tell the truth about black culture in America, a culture that has embraced that, degeneracy, fatherless homes. Let's face it, there's a lot of great black people. I know some. There are some great people. But there is a cultural problem, and a lot of blacks would agree with me. There's a lot of blacks out there that would agree with me. There is a cultural problem. If you don't believe me, go talk to some irrational person in that community that will tell you that there is a problem with culture. Fatherless homes in a lot of cases. This, obviously poverty, there's a big problem. A drug problem. A thuggish problem where, embracing the culture of the rape, murder culture, the gang busting, thugging. And yeah, A culture that's embraced all that. There are some that are trying to bring it to rail to a lot of black people have woken up. They realized a lot of them voted for Trump in 2020 4. There's a lot that realize they have to be independent as well. So there's a lot of good ones, a lot of strong Christians in the black community. A lot of times they're more traditional and moral family values, but in a lot of cases, there's still a cultural problem. And in a lot of cases, more than not. There's a cultural problem. It isn't a skin color, melanin, it's culture. And what happened in North Carolina on a bus, killing a young white woman that was minding her own business, that only was a career criminal, killing her just because she was white, is only skyrocketing the prejudice. If there is prejudice skyrocketing towards blacks, this is why. If you don't want prejudice, then don't fit the stereotype. They want to say they're tired. You know what? No, we're tired. We're tired of your victimhood attitude. We're sick of the chip on their shoulder, disrespectful, acting like everyone's worried about them, acting like the white man's holding them down, when it's all culture that they've embraced. Here's the thing, even if yeah, LBJ was racist and he hated black people just because of their skin color. But LBJ didn't make them embrace thug behavior, become so dependent on the government, being so, this, again, victimhood mindset. Killing people that just because they look a certain way and the media said that person's a threat to you, so they feel they have to go hurt them or they have to defend themselves. Because that's what the media is saying. I think they're guaranteed they're saying that man who murdered that girl, that murdered Irina, he probably felt threatened, and they're going to justify why that was probably acceptable. He felt threatened. He was defending himself. Yeah, because she happened to exist. That's it. He did it because she existed. In his mind, how dare a white person sit on my bus? On his bus. It's evil. And there's people out there that are afraid to be looking at racist, and guess what? They're getting killed anyways. Imagine, I think people need to be more suspicious at cultures. There's a cultural problem, especially in the inner cities. Imagine if they just weren't so trusting and they sat in the back or something to have your eyes on them, because you never know what's going to happen anymore. Because their kind is known for doing this type of stuff. It's ridiculous. So yeah, white people have to stop being afraid of being racist, and they need to stand up. Not because of skin color, but stand up for yourself, because they're the ones actually being killed more. Black violence against white people is way higher. This shouldn't be a racial thing, because that's what, if it was the other way around, I'd be just as outraged. No matter what. She was still made in the image of God, no matter the skin color, like anyone else. And it's an injustice for anyone to be murdered in cold blood. It's one of the abominations of God, shed blood of the innocents. He hates shed blood of the innocents. But yeah, white people have to stop being afraid of being looked at as racist. And if we don't stand up back, they're just going to keep doing it. because the media's conditioned them that they can do whatever they want. And that if you just prove that you're not racist, they won't do anything back. No, they only do it more. So, anyway, that's my thoughts, but it needs to be said. I'm sick of the victimhood. I'm sick of it. Anyway, this is all I have for today. If you like this video, please like. Again, if you have anything to add on this, please comment. And if you like this channel, please subscribe and hit the bell for notifications. The Red Pilled Pilling Channel out.